Hello, my name is Christy Kane, and I am an unstory-teller. Now, you may wonder what that is, and I'm going to explain. From the time we're little, as humans, we start to tell stories, the stories of our lives. Some of these stories are very positive and motivating and help us become who we want to be. And some of these stories can be very negative and damaging and stop us from becoming the person that we were supposed to be. And what I do is help people untell the stories that they shouldn't believe. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I had the opportunity to move into an area about, 10, 12 years ago, and I met a person. And for some reason, when I met this person, I left that encounter with the thought, she doesn't like me. And so I believed that story. So I didn't really engage with that person when I was around them. I really didn't talk to them, and I kind of kept my distance. Well, a few months ago, the opportunity came where I wanted to learn how to play piano. And I knew that she was one of the best piano players in our area. And so I decided that I needed to ask her if she would teach me to play the piano. But I thought, wait a minute, she doesn't like me. And then I thought, well, does it really matter if she likes me or not? What matters is she can teach piano. And I can learn, and it doesn't matter if she likes me or not. So I went ahead and I asked her. I said, would you mind teaching me piano? And I was shocked because she was ecstatic, she was happy, she was excited, and said she would love to teach me. So I left that experience going, wait a minute. I thought she didn't like me, but her response did not give me that impression at all. Now, fast forward a month, I've had 4 piano lessons. We've had great conversations, and I've come to learn that I kind of like this person. And so I ran into her in a grocery store and I said, I need to tell you something. I need to admit that I thought you didn't like me. And she laughed and she said, you know what's funny, Christy? I thought you didn't like me. So here's 2 women who told 2 stories. One, because I had an impression, and second, perhaps because of the way I behaved when she was around me. But both of us bought into stories that were not true. And because of that, we never got to know each other. And who knows, if we hadn't told that story, maybe we would have gotten to be better friends. But now that we've undone the story, we have a chance. That happens in our lives all the time, whether in corporations, whether in individual relationships, or whether with our friends. When we hear something, or we think something, or we believe something, and we buy into it, because how we believe and the stories we tell determines who we want to be. Now, let me give you one more example. About 2 years into my career, I had a lady come into my office. She came in, she had a very nice business suit on, very clean, very sharp, but very outdated. And I thought her suit was probably popular 20 years ago. And she came into my office, she sat down, she didn't even say hello, introduce herself, anything. But she said a statement I will never forget. She said, I am here because what they took from me. And I thought for a moment, who took what? What did you lose? And so I said to Mary, I'm going to call her, what was taken from you and who did the taking? Then Mary had the opportunity to tell me that about 30 years ago, she climbed the corporate ladder of success. At a time when very few women were CEO of corporations, she made it a vice president in a particular company that had high profile. She was well known. She worked 60 to 80-hour weeks. She met profit margins. Her staff performed. She did everything she needed to do to earn that title of vice president. She had an executive office. She had a company car. She had her golf membership, everything that went along with being a vice president. And that was her identity. That was something she had earned and was very proud of. Now, she was at a conference with other people who were in the same line of work that she was, and she overheard a few people at a table talking, and they made the comment, she's only there because she looks good. She's only there because they had to meet affirmative action, or she wouldn't be there. Now, Mary didn't go to the table and ask them who they were talking about. She didn't go to the table and confront them if they were talking about her and tell them of everything that she had done to let them know that they were wrong if it was her she was talking about. Instead, she went home, back to her corporate office, and she started to believe in that story. And she stopped seeing all of her progress and all the deadlines she'd met. And instead, she started to see everything that was wrong with her. She stopped showing up to work. She stopped meeting deadlines. And pretty soon, the company let her go. And the day she was let go, Mary said, I went home to my house, I closed the door, and I no longer existed. I had come to understand that I was a failure. And then the Unstory-teller comes into play. I had the opportunity to take Mary back through that story and ask her, Mary, were they talking about you? She said, I don't know. I said, Mary, did you confront them? No. Mary, did you go home and look at all the numbers and all the reports and all the awards that you had received? No. Then why did you believe a story that wasn't true? Isn't it interesting about human nature that 9 times out of 10, we will remember the negative comment more than the positive? So I challenge every one of you today to be an unstory-teller. And just imagine for a moment if every single one of us only believed the positive, only focused on the things we knew we could be, and whenever we heard negative comments or negative stories, we became unstory-tellers. Companies would not fail. People would succeed. Relationships would be stronger because we would believe the true stories. So just imagine the power of you being an unstory-teller. So imagine untelling the stories that aren't true and only holding on to the stories that are true. Thank you.